Sinful Temptation. Episode 6. Forever starts now. The morning after their first date. Isabella woke up wrapped in Dante's arms, sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his bedroom. For a moment, she just lay there, listening to his steady heartbeat, memorizing the feeling of being held by him. This was real. They were really doing this. "You're awake," Dante's rough morning voice rumbled against her hair. "How did you know?" Your breathing changed. He kissed the top of her head. "Good morning, girlfriend." Isabella smiled against his chest. "Girlfriend. I like the sound of that." "Good. Because I'm not letting you go." His arms tightened around her. Ever. They spent the morning in bed, not making love, just talking. About everything. Their childhoods, their dreams, their fears about this relationship. Dante admitted he was terrified of messing this up. Isabella admitted she was scared of not being enough for him. "You're everything," he told her, cupping her face. "You're more than I deserve and exactly what I need." Around noon, reality intruded in the form of Dante's phone ringing. He glanced at the screen and sighed. "It's Richard. I should take this." Isabella nodded, and Dante answered. "What's up?" Pause. "Yeah, she's here." Another pause, and his expression hardened. "That's none of your business." "Fine. We'll be there in an hour." He hung up and looked at Isabella. "Richard and your mother want to see us. Together. At their place." Isabella's stomach dropped. "They know about last night. Elena saw my car still at your place this morning when she drove by." She put two and two together. He ran a hand through his hair. "We were going to have to tell them eventually anyway. I thought we'd have more time." "Me too." He pulled her close. "But it doesn't change anything. We're together now, and we're going to stay together. No matter what they say." At Richard and Elena's penthouse. The tension was suffocating the moment they walked in. Elena sat on the couch, her face a mixture of hurt and anger. Richard stood by the window, his expression carefully neutral. "Sit," Elena said coldly. Dante's hand tightened around Isabella's as they sat on the opposite couch. He didn't let go. "So," Elena began, her voice shaking. "You're together. Officially." "Yes," Dante said firmly. "How long has this been going on?" "We had our first date last night," Isabella said. "But Mom, I love him. I've loved him since." "Don't." Elena held up a hand. "Don't tell me about love. You don't know what love is. You're 23 years old. I'm old enough to know my own heart. Are you? Or are you just infatuated with an older man who's good in bed?" "Elena," Richard started, but she cut him off. "No. I have every right to be upset. My daughter is sleeping with my husband's brother. It's wrong. It's sick. It's love," Dante interrupted, his voice hard. "And I'm not going to sit here and let you make Isabella feel ashamed of that." Elena turned her fury on him. "You should be ashamed. You're 36 years old. You should have known better than to pursue someone so young, so innocent." "I tried to stay away," Dante said quietly. "God knows I tried. I pushed her away, hurt her, did everything I could to make her leave. But I failed. Because I fell in love with her, and apparently, I'm too selfish to give her up." The raw honesty in his voice seemed to take some of the wind out of Elena's anger. "Richard," Elena turned to her husband. "Say something." Richard had been silent through the whole exchange. Now he looked at his brother, really looked at him. "Are you serious about her?" he asked. "This isn't just another one of your flings." "I've never been more serious about anything in my life." Dante met his brother's eyes. "I love her. I want a future with her. I know it's complicated. I know it makes things difficult for you and Elena. But I'm not giving her up. And you?" Richard looked at Isabella. "You're really in love with him. This isn't about rebellion or daddy issues or." "It's about love," Isabella said firmly. "Pure and simple. I love Dante. He makes me happy. He challenges me. He sees me, really sees me, in a way no one else ever has." She looked at her mother. "I know this hurts you, Mom. I know it's not what you wanted for me. But I'm not asking for your permission. I'm asking for your blessing." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "How can I bless something that feels so wrong?" Because it's not wrong, Dante said. There's no blood relation. We're both adults. And we love each other. That's not wrong, Elena. That's rare and precious and worth fighting for. Silence fell over the room. Elena wiped at her tears, and Richard moved to sit beside her, taking her hand. I've watched my brother my entire life, Richard finally said. Watched him build walls, push people away, refuse to let anyone close. I've never seen him like this, open, vulnerable, willing to risk getting hurt. He looked at Dante. She's changed you. Completely, Dante admitted. And you, Richard turned to Isabella. I've known you since you were a teenager. I've never seen you this confident, this sure of yourself. He's changed me too, Isabella said softly. Richard looked at Elena. Maybe this isn't about what's conventional or what people will think. Maybe it's just about whether they're good for each other. They are, Elena whispered, more tears falling. I can see it. She looked at Isabella. You're my baby girl. I'm not ready to lose you. You're not losing me, Mom. Isabella moved to sit beside her mother, taking her hands. I'll always be your daughter. But I'm also a grown woman who's in love. Can't you be happy for me? Elena looked between her daughter and Dante. Finally, she sighed. I don't know if I can give you my blessing. Not yet. This is all too new, too raw. She squeezed Isabella's hands. But I won't stand in your way. If this is really what you want, if he makes you happy, then I'll try to accept it. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Thank you, Isabella whispered. But, Elena continued, looking at Dante with steel in her eyes, if you hurt her, if you break her heart, if this turns out to be just another one of your meaningless affairs, I will make your life a living hell. Understood. Dante actually smiled. Understood. But that's not going to happen. Because I plan to spend the rest of my life making her happy. 6 months later, Isabella stood in Dante's, home office, looking at the plans he'd spread across the desk. What do you think? He asked, coming up behind her and wrapping his arms around her waist. She studied the architectural drawings. You're really going to build a house? For us. Something that's ours, not just mine. He kissed her neck. 4 bedrooms, home office for you, library, pool. Everything we talked about. Over the past 6 months, their relationship had deepened and grown. They'd faced judgment from society, whispers and stares at events. But they'd faced it together. Elena had slowly come around, especially after seeing how happy Isabella was. She and Dante had even started to build a tentative friendship. Richard had been supportive from the start, glad to see his brother finally opening his heart. Isabella had taken the job at Cross Technologies and was thriving. Working together had brought them even closer, though they maintained strict professionalism at the office. There's something I want to add to the plans, Dante said, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Isabella's breath caught as he opened it, revealing a stunning diamond ring. I know we said we'd wait a year before getting engaged, Dante said, turning her to face him. But I can't wait anymore. I know what I want. I've known since that parking garage. Since before that, really. He dropped to one knee, and Isabella's eyes filled with tears. Isabella Romano, you walked into my life and changed everything. You made me believe in love again. You made me want to be better, to be worthy of you. You're my first thought in the morning and my last thought at night. You're my best friend, my lover, my everything. His voice was thick with emotion. Will you marry me? Yes, Isabella said through happy tears. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into a kiss that was both tender and passionate. I love you, he murmured against her lips. I love you too. They stood there in their home office, wrapped in each other's arms, and Isabella marveled at how far they'd come. From that first forbidden attraction at the wedding to this moment, engaged, in love, building a future together. When should we tell everyone? She asked. Tonight. Family dinner at Richard and Elena's. He smiled. Think your mother will be happy. I think she will. She's seen how good we are together. That evening, they gathered at the penthouse. Elena had cooked. her way of showing she'd accepted their relationship. They sat around the dinner table, the four of them, and for the first time, it felt like family. "We have an announcement," Dante said, and Isabella held up her hand, showing the ring. Elena gasped, her eyes immediately filling with tears. But this time, they were happy tears. "Oh, my baby," she said, coming around the table to hug Isabella. "I'm so happy for you." "Really?" Isabella asked, needing to hear it. "Really?" Elena pulled back to look at her. "I can see how much he loves you. How happy you are. That's all I ever wanted for you." Richard shook his brother's hand, then pulled him into a hug. "Congratulations. Take care of her. Always," Dante promised. They celebrated with champagne and stories. Elena and Richard shared tales from their own wedding planning. Dante and Isabella talked about their dreams for the future, the house they'd build, the life they'd create together. As the evening wound down, Dante pulled Isabella onto the balcony, away from the others. "Happy?" he asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "Incredibly." She leaned back against his chest. "Did you ever think we'd end up here? When we first met at the wedding? No. I thought I'd scare you off or push you away successfully." He kissed her temple. "Thank God you're stubborn. Thank God you learned to stop running." They stood there, looking out at the city lights, and Dante thought about how much his life had changed. A year ago, he'd been alone, convinced he was better off that way. Now he had Isabella, his partner, his love, his future wife. "I have one more surprise," he said. "Another one." He turned her to face him. "I talked to Richard. I'm stepping back from the day-to-day at the company. Promoting a COO to handle operations." "Why?" "Because I want time with you. Real time. Not just stolen moments between meetings. I want to travel with you, build our house with you, start our family with you." His hand rested on her stomach. "All the things I never thought I'd want. I want them all with you." Fresh tears spilled down Isabella's cheeks. "I love you so much. I love you too. More than I knew was possible." He kissed her softly. "Thank you for taking a chance on me. For seeing past my walls. For loving me even when I didn't deserve it. You've always deserved it. You just didn't believe it. I believe it now." He rested his forehead against hers. "You're my forever, Isabella. My always. My everything. And you're mine." Inside, through the glass doors, Elena and Richard watched them together. "They're good for each other," Richard said. "They are," Elena agreed. "I was wrong to fight it. They have something special. They do. He's different with her. Better. She's different too. Confident. Happy. Loved." They watched as Dante and Isabella kissed under the stars, two people who'd found each other against all odds. "Do you think they'll make it?" Elena asked. "Long term." Richard smiled. "I think they'll make it forever." And he was right. Epilogue. 2 years later. The house was finished, a stunning modern masterpiece on the hills overlooking the city. Isabella and Dante had been married for a year, and every day felt like a gift. They'd had a small wedding, just family and close friends. Elena had cried throughout the ceremony. Richard had given Dante away, in a twist on tradition that made everyone laugh. Now Isabella stood in their kitchen, their dream kitchen in their dream house, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. Strong arms wrapped around her waist, and Dante's hand spread protectively over her slightly rounded stomach. "How are my two favorite people?" he asked. "We're perfect." Isabella covered his hand with hers. "Did you finish the nursery?" "Almost. Just need to paint the accent wall." He turned her to face him. "Are you happy, Mrs. Blackwood?" Deliriously. She smiled up at him. "Are you?" "More than I ever thought possible." He kissed her softly. "Thank you." "For what?" "For being brave enough to bid on me at that auction. For not giving up when I pushed you away. For loving me through all my damage and fears and walls." His hand remained on her stomach. "For giving me this, a family. A home. A future. Thank you for taking a chance on love. On us." They stood there as the sun set, two people who'd found their way to each other through all the obstacles and objections. The scandal had faded. Society had moved on to the next drama. Their families had not only accepted but celebrated their relationship. And in a few months, they'd welcome their first child, a daughter they'd already decided to name Hope. Because that's what they'd given each other. Hope for a future filled with love and laughter and all the messy, beautiful chaos of a life built together. Isabella thought back to that wedding 2 years ago, when a stranger's gray eyes had met hers across a garden and changed her life forever. No regrets? Dante asked, as if reading her mind. Not a single one. Me neither. Best $80,000 I never spent. She laughed. You donated that money before you even knew my name. Worth every penny. You're priceless, Isabella. And you're mine. Forever, she agreed. Forever, he repeated, sealing the promise with a kiss. And as the last rays of sunlight faded and the city lights began to twinkle below, Dante and Isabella held each other close, two souls who'd found their forever in the most unexpected, impossible, perfect way. The forbidden had become forever. The sinful had become sacred. And love, messy, complicated, beautiful love, had won. The end. Sinful Temptation, complete series. Thank you for reading their story, Heart.